What's up, guys and girls? Welcome back to another video. Not a lot of people talk about it, but there's definitely traps you can fall into whenever you're investing in a Pokemon product. There's things that you might not want to pick up that may seem like a good deal at the time, and in reality end up not being something you really should be buying with your money if you're looking to make a return on investment. So today I'm going to dive into those and just talk about them today and let you know what they are. But real quick, I did want to just say if you could like and subscribe, it helped me out a ton. I think like 90% of people are not subscribed, which is absolutely insane. And I also did want to shout out on Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, on my Whatnot, I will be doing a $5 MSRP pack stream. So if you want to pick up some packs really cheap, like literally $5 MSRP, go check out the Whatnot. It'll be at like 10 a.m. Central Time. So link will be in the description if you want to go like register for that. It'll be, coming online here in a couple days. So if you could go check that out, greatly appreciate it. Would love to meet some of y'all and talk to y'all during the live stream. Appreciate all y'all. But let's go ahead and hop right into the first mistake and trap that people normally make. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is kind of the casual collector or investor that might be investing for the first time and just see Pokemon products on a shelf at Walmart, Target, if you're able to find some in store. I know it's pretty wild nowadays to be able to try and find something like that. But, if you do go into a store and you find something, something really cool, you're like, oh, wow, that binder collection looks really cool. It's kind of looks neat. The prismatic surprise box, things like this that are kind of niche but look good on the shelf. You're like, yeah, I'll pick one up. It's only $30. It's not the big deal. It's an investment. I can put it on display and it's not a big deal. But what a lot of people don't understand is just because a product is sealed does not always mean it is the best investment. Now, I'm not saying products will not rise in price, but when you're looking at things from a purely speculative investment point of view, you're looking at things from a rate of return or return on investment, like POV. So you're looking at what will rise the most for the price you paid. If you pay $30 for something and 5 years from now it's like 60, 70, yeah, you made double your money. But if you bought an ETB or a booster box or something along those lines, no, you might be at 3 times, 4 times, heck, even 5 to 6 times your money, even though it might be a little bit more expensive. Like an ETB, let's say you buy it for $50 and suddenly it's $150 5 years later. That's 3 times your money compared to only 2 times. Now, does this go for every single item? Some items, are more rare than others. So like the 151 binder collection, I don't think it has ever gotten a reprint. I've never seen those in stores. So they're going to be a little bit more expensive, even though they're a niche item. They don't sell as often too. So if you do get a lot of these like niche tins, binder collections, surprise boxes, things like this that are niche and people don't necessarily want to collect them, you might have a hard time, especially if a large amount of them, moving them in the future. Now, obviously, collection boxes also kind of fall under this distinction as well, but I'm more so talking about the Mega Latios boxes, not so much like I've mentioned in previous videos, the big specialty boxes that have come out recently. I think those are actually pretty good because those move really well for price per pack. Rip and shippers will buy them. But I'm just talking about a regular collection box. Nobody really cares about Mimikyu V collection box or Mega Latios collection box, Reshiram EX box. Like, nobody actually collects those. Those aren't really collectible themselves, so nobody really cares about them. Basically, if you go to sell them, they're just based on whatever the price of the packs are inside, which ends up not being as much premium as you'd want for a sealed thing. At that point, you're just holding sealed packs in a box. It takes up a lot of space and ends up not being the best like return on investment or ROI, and it just ends up being, kind of a waste of time and money for something you could have put in your money into something else. So you buy 50 of those Reshiram EX boxes that are going, I think they're like $50 a piece now. You buy 50 of those and, they go to $100 in 5 years. That's a decent amount of money, but you got to move all those, you got to sell them. They're not super liquid. You maybe sell one every week. It'll take a whole year to sell them, and that's if you're getting max price. Like, it's just a whole hassle. So don't fall into the trap of buying these like off niche products that people don't overall want. If you're buying something, buy, a top tier specialty collection box, a ETB, booster boxes, things like that will hold value and people actually want to collect, or even just open to rip. Like I said, if they're collectible, like an ETB, people will want them. So like I did mention before, I'm just going to quickly, briefly go over for anyone who's new to the investing space in general. A lot of people here do know what investing looks like and what they want to be investing into in the Pokemon scene. But there are some people, like, when you're investing into stuff in the Pokemon scene, you pretty much go for the big two. It's either ETBs or like booster boxes are mainly the things you go for if you're investing into sealed product. Obviously, people go for chase cards and things along those lines, but generally those are the two you want to go for. Obviously, collection boxes are very for those, like obviously the specialty ones I've talked about before, if they have a great promo in them, so that's the Shrouded Fable ones with the Greninja and the Kingdra that have recently come out, those have some demand because people will probably want them in the future just for the promo cards to maybe make a potential grading play on them. but those are the types of assets you look for. Just a regular black and white flare binder collection is not necessarily what you want to be investing into, because overall, when you go to sell that, the only thing they'll be looking at to sell for the sealed collection is just the price per packs. And if the price per packs are $10, it's going to be, what, $50? That's what they're looking at. Once the prices hit $20 a pack, it's now $100. That's basically how these sorts of things for those boxes work. So make sure you're investing into ETBs, booster boxes, some collection boxes that have really good promos, or for specialty sets. That's kind of what you're looking for if you're new here, guys. So make sure that's where you're putting your money. Also, be mindful of space. These things do take up actual real world space. It's not a button you can just sell on your phone. You do have to physically store these, so make sure you're storing them in good areas and not falling into the trap of just throwing them in a closet that's not temperature controlled in your attic or anything like that. Make sure, because, you know, people don't realize that these boxes and stuff can get ruined. If you throw them in your attic and you live in a hot area like Florida, where it's really humid and you don't have it temperature controlled, maybe your box like gets a lot of condensation in it. It like gets ruined. Maybe it gets really hot. Things like that. Maybe you have rodents and they'll eat through the cardboard. Like, it's not a problem for them. So just be mindful of these things. Know what you're doing with your collection in that sort of space, and make sure you're keeping them in a good area to make sure that they don't get destroyed later on and you don't lose money on them. Also, I did want to mention a trap people sometimes fall into is buying PSA 9s for investment purposes. If you just want a card for collecting, buy a PSA 9. It's going to be cheaper. It's going to be sealed, so it will protect the card fully. Like, it does have some value. It's not like it's, you know, worthless. Obviously, it's going to be worth a lot, or right around where the raw copy is. But, you know, overall, you don't have to go through the effort and time of grading it or the money. It's graded for you. It's in a nice protective slab. Go for 10s if you're going for investment purposes. This Eevee, I think it's like a $75 PSA 10 slab. You know, when Terastal rotates out and they don't make those anymore, very likely this card could be a $150 slab. It's not unlikely, but only because it's a 10. The raw 9 will probably be like $40, $50, which is not nearly the same return as what you'd be getting if you bought this. So I did just want to shout that out to anyone who's looking to pick up 9s as like investments. Just hold off from doing that. Save up the money, just get yourself a 10. You'll thank yourself in the long term, because one, they're more liquid. People actually want to buy 10s a lot of the time. You're not stuck on a card that's impossible to sell because nobody wants it. And two, just like most people go for 10s. Like they go up more in value because more people want them. 9s are very niche. You do find some 9 collectors from here or there, you know, they do pop up from time to time. And, you know, people do buy these cards, especially if they're right around raw price, and people just like them being in protected slabs. But just be careful when you're buying these in 9s. If you're thinking, oh, I'm going to buy a bunch of 9s in investment, Modern is already super saturated in like graded cards. Like, I'm not saying we're in a junk wax type of era or anything like that yet, but there are already a lot of saturated cards in 10s. So buying something in a 9 that's not even the top tier, like if you're buying a Van Gogh Pikachu in 9, that doesn't even make sense, because one, the card already has 40 something thousand in 10s. So just buy the 10. Like, I know it's going to be more expensive. It's going to be like 5 times more expensive or 4 times more expensive. Just buy the 10. You'll thank yourself later as the card appreciates in value. Now, Van Gogh is just a specific card. Don't go out and buy that one specifically. It just popped in my head. But make sure you're buying 10s. Don't buy 9s. Buy 10s. That's another trap a lot of new people fall into, is buying a 9 and then, you know, later on down the line they're like, well, this hasn't really appreciated much more besides the raw copy. And it's like, it's because there's no added value to a 9, unfortunately, anymore for modern cards. Some vintage cards do have that, so if you're looking at vintage ones, you know, that's possibly a play. But for modern, only pick up 10s. So yeah, those are some of the newest traps that I see a lot of new investors falling into when they're trying to invest into Pokemon product, whether they're buying the wrong products overall, they're not realizing what they're supposed to buy, whether they're buying PSA 9s and all sorts of things like that. Make sure you're parking your money. If you're putting into like an asset like Pokemon, that's being moved into stuff that actually has like real natural demand, not just like superficial demand like we're in kind of right now, where it's just, it'll only be wanted in a bull market. So be sure you're wary of where you're putting your money. Be careful. This isn't a 100% asset or that'll only go up. I see people bring that up all the time. Pokemon only ever goes up. Trust me, things can go down and will go down. It's how fundamental economies work. If stuff only ever went up, like you're just asking for trouble. That's just, if everything only went up, everyone would be maxing out their credit cards, putting everything to Pokemon, and then you get a Tulip situation. I don't know if anyone knows the Tulip story, but basically, you know, Tulips were super wanted back in the old days and then ended up crashing because ultimately they don't have any value. Like, these just only have value because we say they have value. People want them, so they value. But anyway, just be careful you're spending your money. Let me know what you guys are investing into in the comments. Would love to hear what you guys are picking up right now. I've been picking up some ETBs. I just picked up a case of Twilight Masquerade ETBs, so super excited about that. First case I've ever picked up. Also, be sure to check out the Whatnot. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a $5 packs, whatever, MSRP. So if you're interested in opening some packs and ripping some stuff, go check out the Whatnot. Link is going to be in the description, so highly encourage that. Also, be sure to like and subscribe. Like I said, 90% of y'all aren't even subscribed, and you watch the videos all the way through, so I appreciate all y'all. Join the Discord. That's going to be it for me today. Take care.